When your staff transitions to a new role, they often make mistakes. And that's because they're just entering into unfamiliar territory. This set of conversations with architecture firm leaders is all about mistakes. As the firm leader, first thing to do is to get familiar with the conditions under which the staff makes mistakes. Understand where they are in that transitional role. And once you do, you can start identifying when and where the mistakes are likely to happen. This not only helps them make the transition more smoothly, but it helps your firm make them more productive and more profitable to your firm, more efficient, more effective. So this includes the new professionals you just hire right out of college. It includes new architects, people who have just become licensed, new transition. And it includes mentors, new mentors. These could be senior architects, experienced architects who have never mentored before other than very casually, but to enter in a formal mentoring program to really intentionally mentor the rest of your staff. All three of these people transition to a new role, they make mistakes. The new professional is still kind of thinking like they were when they were in college. And now they're in this new situation, working for a firm. The new architect tends to think of themselves as an unlicensed support staff, and not really quite there yet as to what it means to actually be licensed as an architect. And the new mentor is still trying to get their head around what is this mentoring thing. Now, I've identified 4 mindset shifts that happen to architecture professionals on their career journey. The first one is what I call the self or cohort mindset. It's when they're in school. They're in charge of really everything about their education. They chose the school, they chose the architecture program, they chose the courses that they take, other than there are some that are required, but oftentimes there's a lot of choices that they get to make in formulating their own experience as an architecture student. They often choose what their topics are for their assignments. And of course, in design projects, they're creating the designs. Everything is about what they're doing. Sometimes they work in teams, so that's why I include the cohort part, because now they're supporting each other with their friends on team projects. But when they transition to working for a firm, it's completely different. Now, instead of them deciding what they're working on, they get assigned tasks. They get assigned responsibilities for doing certain things, and they have to report to a supervisor. This is why I call the second mindset shift the hierarchical mindset. They see themselves in this hierarchy of employee and supervisor and employer. And in this tier, they tend to focus on the tasks. Those are the job. Unfortunately, in some cases, the tasks really take on a life of themselves. The tendency is they separate the task from the project and the client. They tend not to relate to the project as a whole and the client's goals. They tend to relate specifically to the task, the assignment that they're given. A big step for architecture professionals is when they start thinking in terms of the project and the client goals, and not just executing tasks for the supervisor. This mindset transition is also a big boost for firm productivity and the profitability that you get from that employee. This is a great time to really consider that employee is ready to do project management and get some training to take on a new team leadership role. The fourth corporate mindset is when that professional takes on a firm leadership role. This could be striking out on their own, or it could be getting an ownership stake in the firm that they're working for, and they become associates or they become partners. As a firm leader, you understand what they went through. This is the whole process of transitioning from focusing on projects and clients to focusing on running the business, the actual KPIs and getting the work, the business development, and the goals of the firm as a whole. By understanding these mindsets, you can start to see the challenges that they face in making this transformation from one to the other. That way, you can start to anticipate why and where they can make these mistakes. Often, our expectations for the performance of the employee is mismatched with the expectations the employee has of what they should be doing, what their priorities are. Their priorities are filtered through that mindset. So understanding those mindsets, where the person is in that journey, helps us as firm leaders guide them better and reduce those mistakes.